Hi guys, and welcome back. Hope you guys are having a good day. In this video, I'm going to focus in on how you can get good club head speed, how you can get a little bit extra distance, even when you're getting a bit older. So if you're over 50 years old, we can still get that club head speed, but we do have to swing a little bit differently than, say, an 18-year-old. So I'm not that old of a guy, I'm 32 years old, but it's even tougher for me. I can tell a difference from when I was 18 to when I'm 32. And as you get older, things get a little bit tighter. We're not as flexible, and we're going to need to do things slightly different to get good club head speed. So on that one, I made a pretty good swing, hit that ball nice and solid, about 119 miles an hour club head speed. Looks like it's a little over 300 yards of total distance. There's a couple of things that we can do to really make sure that we get that power. So no matter what your swing speed is, even if your swing speed is, 70 miles an hour versus anybody else's, we can use these same techniques, these same principles to get you a few extra yards. So let me grab another golf ball here. And on the PGA Tour, the average shoulder turn in the backswing, which a lot of those guys are very flexible, especially if you're talking about Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy. I mean, those guys are super flexible, almost hyper flexible. But in the backswing, the average for the entire PGA Tour for a shoulder turn is about 126 degrees. So that means the shoulders, if we go from shoulder socket to shoulder socket, are rotating until they're facing well behind the golf ball, 126 degrees of rotation. So 90 degrees is kind of the minimum that I like to see everybody get. I think it's going to help you to get the most distance. For their hip turn is going to be about 45 degrees. So one of the biggest things out there that a lot of people are preaching right now is to restrict your hip turn and to get some separation between the hips and the shoulders. Well, if you're not very flexible, if you're getting older in age, that's going to kill your distance, because we're not going to be able to create enough separation to really get wound up. We got to get wound up. So as you get a little bit older, I recommend getting a little bit more hip turn. And I got a great test for you. Go ahead and stand up out of your chair if you're watching at your computer, or if you're at the golf course, go ahead and try this drill out. I want you to keep your belt buckle facing straight forward, and I want you to rotate your shoulders as far as you can. So we stand up here. I'm gonna rotate my shoulders as far as I can without letting my belt buckle rotate at all. And you can see now that I've gone about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit more. So if I only turn my hips 45 degrees, I'm gonna get to about 90 with my shoulders, maybe a little bit extra if I really force it, because I'll have some momentum. But there's no way I'm gonna be able to get to that 128 unless I'm pretty daggone flexible like a lot of guys on the PGA Tour are. So as you get a little bit older, getting those hips to rotate a little bit more. I recommend as you get older in age, instead of being 45, let's go ahead and let them rotate 50, 55 degrees. That way it's gonna help us to turn those shoulders and get a little bit more flexibility. The second thing that helps with that is going ahead and lifting your left heel up. So as I go into my backswing, I've actually been doing this. I didn't used to lift my left heel up, but I realize that I'm not the most flexible guy in the world. And if I lift my left heel just very slightly, that frees up my hips. It gets me wound up a lot more. And then as I push the heel into the ground, I can really let that club whip through contact and actually get more speed coming through contact when I lift my heel and then put it back on the ground. I've seen absolutely no difference in distance. Some of the best players in the world, Jack Nicklaus lifted the heel. A lot of other players lift the heel and do very well with it. So when I put both of those things together, I'm gonna let my hips rotate a little bit more. And I do that by feeling like I'm pushing out with my right foot. I'm pushing back with my left foot. That's gonna get my hips to actually move. I'm putting pressure in the ground to get my hips to twist. And then I'm lifting my left heel. And when I do that, you can see I get a big shoulder turn, really get wound up, and I can get a lot of power. So that's the first part of it. If we don't get wound up, we're not going to be able to swing through with a lot of speed. What I want you to do now is go ahead and put your club across your shoulders. Do about 100 repetitions here, lifting that left heel, getting the club to point behind the golf ball. It'll be pointing out in front of the golf ball, so it'll be pointing outside of it, but it's going to rotate behind it, and then we're going to come all the way on through to where my club is now facing over to the left a little bit. 100 repetitions of that. Make sure the left heel just comes up just a little tiny bit. And then the second or third thing we're going to work on here is, as I set up, I'm going to go ahead and open up my hip a little bit, or open up my left foot a little bit. And what that does is that takes your actual hip socket here and it opens that up. So now as I come on through, I can rotate through on a little more easily. That's the same thing as we're going back. We get a little tighter. We can't load up. As we come through, we get a little tighter and we can't rotate on through the shot. So I recommend playing the foot open probably 20 or 30 degrees. And as you come on through the shot, now that's going to allow your hips to rotate so you can get those shoulders to rotate all the way on around like that. And that's going to help with your speed. Now, one question I get a lot of times is, well, why does that matter? Who cares how far I rotate through? I've already hit the ball when I'm coming through the shot. It doesn't really matter if I stop right here. The ball's already well on its way. Well, what's really happening there is in my downswing, I'm gonna start decelerating here, and that ends up in a kind of a short, abbreviated follow through. If I continue to accelerate through the ball, I'm gonna finish all the way on around. So those few little tricks there are gonna help you to bump up your speed. If you put those together, we're gonna be able to get a good full shoulder turn going back, good full turn coming through, and we're gonna pick up some great distance. All right, guys, go out there, take a nice aggressive swing, free up your swing. Even if you're over 50 years old, you can still rip the ball. Good luck to you guys. I'll see y'all soon. Hi guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got a fantastic bonus for you. I'm gonna talk about the #1 lag mistake that I see. So if you wanna build massive amounts of lag in your downswing and release that lag to get tons of speed, I'm gonna go over the #1 lag mistake in a preview of a video that's gonna pop up. If you wanna see that entire video, just click the link that pops up on your screen or the one down below in the description. If you're on a mobile device or a tablet, you'll just click the button that drops down in the description and then click the link from there. If you have any questions at all, post them in the comments. I'll try to answer all those myself. And then click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. That really helps us out, helps us to grow the channel, keep giving you guys more videos. Also remember to subscribe, that way you'll see our latest videos. So good luck to you guys, play well, go out there and rip them. I'll see you in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see, and in this drill what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be. I want to use the full length of this club to build lag and then release lag.